By early 1917, the movement of the Great War had devolved into a static war of attrition. Across Europe, the machinery of conflict was stalling. The British Royal Navy was enforcing a blockade that actively starved the German civilian population, steadily depleting the empire's reserves of food and fuel. Across the Atlantic, the United States maintained a strict neutrality. President Woodrow Wilson had recently won re-election on the promise of keeping American soldiers out of the European conflict. This exhaustion forced the German High Command into a corner. They needed a decisive mechanism to break the stalemate, even if it risked provoking American intervention. The German Military High Command authorized unrestricted submarine warfare, intending to choke Britain's supply lines. They knew sinking American merchant ships would bring the United States to the brink of war. To counter that threat, German Foreign Minister Arthur Zimmermann devised a preemptive plan to keep the American military occupied within its own hemisphere. Zimmermann sent a secret proposal to the Mexican government. He offered financial backing for Mexico to invade the United States and reclaim the lost territories of Texas, New Mexico, and Arizona. He also requested that Mexico invite Japan into a secondary alliance. By exploiting American anxieties regarding Pacific security, Germany hoped to encircle the U.S. with local hostilities. The telegram was a sophisticated geopolitical trap designed to paralyze American forces at home, preventing their industrial power from reaching the Western Front. But Zimmermann made a fatal mistake in the transmission. He sent this highly classified threat over American diplomatic cables, lines that physically passed through a relay node in London. Tapping those lines was Room 40, a secretive British naval intelligence division that intercepted the message as it crossed the Atlantic. British codebreakers possessed captured German codebooks and began stripping away the layers of encryption, mathematically unlocking the secret text. Once deciphered, British intelligence held documented proof of German hostility that could bring the United States into the Allied effort. Handing this text to Washington presented an operational dilemma. If Germany learned the British had the text, they'd realize their codes were compromised and change them instantly. Furthermore, sharing the intercept meant admitting to wiretapping neutral U.S. cables, triggering a major diplomatic crisis. Room 40 bypassed this by bribing an agent in Mexico to obtain a localized copy directly from the telegraph office in Mexico City. This Mexican copy used an older, less secure cipher. By using it as the source, Britain protected the secrecy of its high-level code-breaking and hid the fact that it was monitoring American lines. For this evidence to reach the American public, British intelligence first had to construct a flawless cover story regarding its origin. On March 1, 1917, President Wilson released the laundered telegram to the press, resulting in massive headlines across the country. The initial reaction was skepticism. Many Americans believed the document was a British forgery, designed to pull the United States into the war. Both Mexico and Japan issued swift denials, as their military officials viewed the prospect of an invasion of the United States as logistically impossible. 2 days later, Arthur Zimmermann stepped forward and publicly admitted he sent the telegram. This baffling admission destroyed his plausible deniability and validated the British intelligence operation in the eyes of the American public. Outrage united a previously isolationist nation against Germany. On April 6, 1917, the U.S. Congress formally declared war on the German Empire. Vast industrial and human resources began to mobilize, preparing to cross the Atlantic and end the stalemate in Europe. In attempting to guarantee American neutrality, Zimmermann provided the specific catalyst for Germany's eventual downfall.